Just grabbed some stuff out of the Beamer. It's another foggy morning here, and it's time to make our 3.5 hour drive up to Chuckwalla. It's a lot closer than the other tracks. That's probably the best this car has ever driven. We're rolling up at the gas station now. The route kind of sucked for the first little while, not gonna lie. I was really annoyed with the road and all that. It ended up taking me through some back roads, but then the road got super nice, like really smooth, and ended up being super chill. So that's sweet. But the car has no weird vibrations. These Nankings balance really well on these tires, so it feels awesome. The exhaust is super quiet, so obviously all you hear is the diff, which you can hear now. It's really loud, but the sound system sounds great, so that kind of makes up for it. And yeah, the alignment's perfect. The steering wheel's straight, and it doesn't pull any direction. Like it feels like it's been forever since it's not had alignment problems like that, and it just feels phenomenal. So it was honestly a really good drive, and I'm still over a half tank, if you can see there. Still over a half tank, averaged about 22.6 miles a gallon. So we did pretty well on gas as well. As I said, the car felt great. We're here at the gas station, we're filling up. You can see it is racking over $100 at this point, but it's okay. We gotta make sure the car's filled up, ready to go for the whole day. Like I said, it drove amazing. The only issue is it is rubbing pretty bad right here. I just noticed this. The back roads definitely didn't help that at all. It's not really bad though. It's not like stopping the car. It's just the kind of rub that grazes it like my Speed 6 had, but it's still insane. That rubber is super sticky. So hopefully it's not much of an issue on track. Luckily it is a counterclockwise configuration, so it should dip on this side less, but we'll kind of see. Yeah, the car felt great. Supposed to be going right now. I have a new camera mount. I forgot my little adapter, but I managed to make it work. So it's not tilted down as far as I want to go, or be as high up as I want it to be, but it's better than no footage. So it'll have to do. I had to use the first session almost as a qualifying to sort of grid me properly in the next session. The nice thing about this organizer is that they actually grid you by times when they set you out, so you're not typically stuck behind much traffic. I also just used it to get a feel for the track again. It's been a while since I've been here, so I kind of needed to get a feel for everything was out again. first session I ran a high 203, and the second session I actually ran a 201.8, I believe, and it was just an eye-opener for how fast this track really is. Like I said, I don't remember how fast it really is, and there's so many corners here where you barely need to brake, and you can just stay floored through the entire corner, at least in my car.
I need to brake for that fast cambered sweeper, which is pretty insane.
for the last session and the open session, it was super hot, and I was honestly getting backed up by traffic from the really slow guys just from lapping them or being gridded wrong. So it was still good times. I was really trying to get a sub 2 because in the past, like, I've always left early and had a chance at a better time. I ran a couple 2:00 flats, but never closer to my 2:00.04 laps. So next time we'll go there, we'll get a sub 2, but today was not that day, but it was an amazing day nonetheless.
Scale. Sub 2, but multiple flat 2s. Some fucking bullshit.
Day's already over at this point, but we did a lot of great driving, found out a lot about the car, and it honestly felt phenomenal all day. There was zero issues with it. I ran phenomenal times, in my opinion. I got very close to the sub 2, and I'm a little annoyed I didn't quite hit that, but at least it leaves me something to look forward to. Like I said, the car felt amazing. Didn't have any ABS problems like it used to have. It actually felt so dialed balance-wise. Like these, honestly, I love these Nankangs. They feel a lot like the Kumos do when it comes to just consistency and feel, but the grip levels are like 5 levels above the Kumos. They just feel amazing. The rub did slow down. Obviously you can see it's still rubbed, but didn't smell anything on the way, so I did hammer the quarter panel a little bit just to get it a bit better. They didn't marble up too bad. The brakes felt great. They, I think, did get very hot still, even with brake ducts, but they are still in good shape. Rotors are still cracking up a little bit, and there is some wear on the pads, which isn't crazy though. They're still at about 6 or 7 millimeters, so they're still wearing pretty phenomenally, in my opinion. And now we're just gonna drive home. The car's all packed up. We're gonna stop and get food, actually. I don't even need to fill up because I actually brought 15 gallons with me and it got it up right to a full tank. So we're actually gonna just go straight home and pick this up tomorrow. I'm about to test fit some stuff you guys are gonna see in a video, probably in a couple months, but I figured I would show you some of the results of the data that I was able to get. These tires start brand new at about 6:30 seconds from what I checked at the track. Now they're at 4:30 seconds. So with the track day and the drive home, they wore down 2:30 seconds, which is kind of insane. On a good note though, there's really not any noticeable inner wear. I mean, there might be some, but nothing crazy. And I don't know if it's really alignment or if it's the route I took, because the route I took actually had a lot of turns as I was taking mainly back roads. So this car wasn't just going straight cambering in, it was actually using the camber that the car has. So that actually worked out properly. One thing that did work, but not ideally, is actually the brake ducting. You could see this inside did stay much cooler, but it actually left this outside just as hot. So the reason this is happening is because the guides will just guide air in the direction of the rotor. They don't actually shoot it into the middle of the rotor. So what I might do in the future is actually make a little piece to block off the face. That way it's only able to get fed air into the cooling vanes back here, so it can actually work through the rotor and cool it all down. But surprisingly, they are effective, and they were working pretty good. Brake pads are still wearing great. And I want to say that's it for the front of the car. Right off the bat, I'm just going to say this is easily one of the best track days I've ever had. Maybe even the best track day I've ever had. It just was perfect from start to finish. I mean, I didn't quite get a 159, and I was really going there to sub 2, but just like I said in my last video, I was really just trying to go there with an open mind, just to see how everything was going to go, and it way exceeded my expectations. The car actually felt insane. It worked exactly the way I wanted it to. It didn't have any weird braking problems. It had so much grip. I couldn't believe how much grip it actually had, whether that's a mix of the new tires, which I'm sure it is, but it's also probably car setup. It feels the best it's ever felt setup-wise as well. Like rear end, it just felt so dialed with the modified stock bar and the 7K rear springs. It had like the perfect balance to where if you set it up properly going into the corner, it just maintains slip angle through the whole entire thing. On my fastest lap, I'm just going to call it a flat O's because it was 200.04. Like that's right there. So it's a little nerve-wracking and annoying, but it is what it is. It was still a very fast lap. It still felt good, and I'm still very proud of that. The last corner, it just like perfectly slid into the corner, entering it, and just kind of held it through the whole way with no steering input. It was just amazing. The car is so dialed. It sounds amazing. It doesn't hurt my head because of the Nismo exhaust. It's great. It's actually a little quiet on track because other cars are so loud sometimes, but it sounds amazing. It pulls great. The only issue I'm really having with my car at this point, I think, is just the rev limiter. It's a DE, so it has a 6,600 RPM rev limiter, and I'm shifting up into fifth like 2 or 3 times on chuckwalla where I really shouldn't be shifting up into fifth just to not be banging off limiter. So if I had another 400 RPM, let's say, I probably wouldn't have to do that, and I probably would have sub-2'd it because I'm not having to upshift just to immediately back downshift to be in fourth for some corners. But it's just stuff you got to work around. Maybe I'll end up putting an 04 ECU in this car because it's actually an 03, so I need an 04 ECU to tune it and maybe add some rev limiter to it and just make it better in that sense. But besides that, it was amazing. It didn't wear the inside edges of the tires. You could see actually it did marble them quite a bit. I never noticed it, but they kind of all fell off. The insides of these wheels were full of marbles. Like the entire thing is just completely full of them, which is wild. You can see all the marks back here, all rubber marbles. It's all splattered across everything back here, you know, just typical stuff. But I am overall, like I said, really, really happy with the car. It was amazing. It only had one little issue, which was the clutch fluid overheated, and I lost my pedal on my absolute last lap of the day, but I don't really think that's an issue with the car. It's just a 2-year-old .4 fluid and not well heat shielded, so it kind of is to be expected. I'm probably gonna have another video coming out where I'm gonna do some track prep to this and change up a few things, and that clutch fluid issue, the brake duct issue, and the tire rubbing is probably gonna be a part of that. I was able to sort of remedy it just by whooping out a hammer and pounding on the quarter panel. It pushed it out a little more where I needed to, but I want to get it more even and close and just get a fender roller on it to try and pull it out a little more. These fenders are already rolled, but I want to just really pull it all the way out, maybe even cut off the inner lip. That way I can really lay it flat and have just enough room for these tires. This wasn't an issue on Kumos or Bridgestones, so I think it might just be a these tires thing, but I want to have it set up and make this not an issue just for the seeable future. The route coming home was honestly amazing. I didn't hit the highway once, or freeway once. I was on highways the entire way, and I honestly didn't really hit much traffic at all either. It took me through some really, really nice back roads I've never been on before or seen, and I wish I could have filmed it, but like I said, I didn't bring my little tripod adapter, so I would have had to get creative, and I just didn't feel like doing that at 11 p.m. But so smooth, the smoothest back roads I've ever felt in my life. They were so tight and just perfect back roads, so it was honestly a nice drive coming home, and it was a lot less brain dead than just sitting on a highway, like following the same car going under the speed limit for the entire 200 miles home. It was honestly a very nice switch up, and I think it also contributed to my better tire wear and not having the car just rolling in a straight line for hours.